Hello, welcome to this edition of the Specialist Finance Show. Today I'm joined by Scott Gordon, who's a development sales specialist at Wallace and Stratton. Greetings, Scott.
Morning, thanks Rob for having me.
So, the off-plan sales are interesting because it impacts the developer clients we deal with, and obviously end buyers as well. But it'd be interesting to sort of get your feedback on how you see the market right now for those off-plan sales.
Yeah, the market's certainly been subdued. We've found that since CCCFA came in, approvals were down, and obviously purchase. We took a bit of a hit in terms of the contracts that were falling at the time. Since then, people have recognised and be able to get the approvals through, and there's been more uptake. And we've noticed that gradually there's still underlying demand in the market. Post that, obviously, you've got the inflation postings, the interest rate increases, and people are a bit more cautious about the market there. So that has impacted on some of the underlying transactions, but still underlying demand, and properties that are priced well are still moving. Mm-hmm. And we are finding that there's still good momentum in the market. It's just finding the right people and having it put in the right place. Probably more geared towards properties that are near completion are where we're finding that they're moving. Off the plans that don't have yet resource consent or building consent are just looked at a little more cautiously. But overall, it's still moving.
Okay. And do you think that's a combination of the finance side of things, pre-approvals going out to kind of 60, 90 days, and also buyers are nervous if schemes are at day one, they're more comfortable if they can see something tangible? Yeah,
definitely. If there's one of the chicken and egg scenarios that's happening is the finances for the developers are outside the 12-month wanting pre-sales, but inside on the buyer side, the bank's giving approvals for within 12-month periods. So that can create a bit of a risk period for the buyer. But certainly, there is stock that's, if it's like I say, it's priced right, then it's moving and people are able to secure finance on it.
Okay. And with the developers that you're dealing with, what are the preferences? Are they looking at townhouses, apartments, standalone houses? Where are you seeing the demand?
Yeah, so the bulge bracket we target is kind of that 700 to 900 price point, where people can get that finance. The average household income is achieving that level of finance. And so that relates itself probably at the moment that the market is like a 2 and 3 bedroom terrace. That's got a lot of favour. The standalones, you're getting over the kind of the million price point, and it's just making the ability for people to achieve that finance if they're first home buyers. Mm-hmm. The investors are certainly looking for a return on yield, and that 2-3 bed terraced option is certainly flavour of the month. Yeah.
Right. Okay. And it's interesting in this kind of market where prices are coming off, you sometimes get a mismatch between the vendor's expectation and the buyer's expectation.
Yeah.
And it can be an emotional decision for homeowners. Are you seeing developers being more realistic around their pricing model?
Yeah, people are starting to recognise that the market is a little bit subdued and meeting the market. Again, it's where there's quality, it's been recognised and that's still being priced appropriately, and people are still buying that. And deals or projects that are close to completion are also being purchased. But yes, there is a little bit of a discounting or a recognition that the market has kind of been having a little bit of a reset or correction at the moment. Mm-hmm. And buyers are aware of that, and I guess that's where there's been a bit of a standoff probably the last few months, but vendors are becoming, I think, a bit more realistic around that.
Yeah, that's good. So it's interesting you mentioned the phrase realistic pricing, Scott, because obviously we've seen the market go crazy previously over the 18 months or 2 years prior. Yeah. We're seeing investors that are looking for opportunities to get back into the market now. Do you think that this is a buying opportunity given the history of the Auckland market?
Yeah, absolutely. I think underlying fundamentals are still there. There's been a lot of immigration that's not been people coming in because of the COVID. They've been shut out for 2 years, so those people haven't come into the market either. So there's going to be some underlying demand. I think when supply catches up, there's going to be the pricing. I think at the moment is at probably an optimal rate. We're back at a level that was probably in the middle of last year. So I think knowing that Auckland market can recover and will do once interest rates and everyone's got used to that environment, there'll still be good buying opportunities. So right now, I think it's a good time. Vendors are getting realistic pricing, and the market's kind of will come back and trend upwards again.
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned immigration, because I've seen a lot of headlines about people moving overseas, but obviously we've got huge shortages in lots of areas here. So, that's surely going to drive some inward immigration as well, which doesn't really seem to be touched on.
Yeah, so definitely there's going to be an influx. They've been kept out of the border, and they'll be looking to purchase once they've kind of got residency, and that's probably been the key thing, is actually waiting for that 2-year time frame, and that hasn't been happening over the last period. So I think there will be some pent-up supply pent-up demand, that's going to come through in the coming kind of 6-12 months as well.
Yeah. And as you say, they might not be in a position to buy, but they'll need to live somewhere. So there's a sort of floor for your rental market as well.
Definitely going to be some needing rental and accommodation while they're waiting for that residency to come through before they can purchase. So, absolutely.
Good.